good morning,
Good afternoon.
or good evening to our wonderful listeners.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Max, and we are your hosts of Queer the Roster.
Strap on.
And strap in. So, on today's very first episode, very fittingly, we're going to be talking about first dates.
First dates.
Now, the important question is, in this day and age, how do queer people meet each other?
Wow. I think the obvious one, sadly, dating apps.
Sort of become a reliance, hasn't it?
Become everyone's dating norm. I think people are scared to approach each other in public, whether that's just complimenting someone or just being friendly.
Oh my God, yeah.
Assessing the vibe before you just go straight into, oh, you're so fit.
Well, you don't have to approach someone like that, but I had it literally last week where I was at my little side hustle job and I was serving someone and, I could tell he was giving me the eyes, as you do, fair enough. And then I went over to take payment and he sort of paid on his phone and then put his phone down on the counter, showing that Grindr was on there, which is just odd. And then I was telling my colleague about it and he was like, oh, he's just tapped me on Grindr. He's messaged me on Grindr and I'm like, why not just say hi?
What happened to hello?
Yeah,
How
what
are
happened
you?
to hello?
My name is.
Just anything. You don't even have to be weird about it. You can just be like, hey, I think you're really attractive. Can I get your Instagram, your number?
Yeah. Or just, hey, how's your day going? Assess the vibe
anything.
first.
Start a conversation.
You can see if they're then interested, if they reciprocate the questions you're asking and are interested in if you've had a good day too.
Yeah.
But back to where else you can meet people. If you are one trying to step away from dating apps, do a hobby, an activity.
That's how you meet new people.
Climbing.
Ems is in her climbing era.
So meeting people there, especially, advocate for climbing. It's a friendly space.
I find a lot of queer people go climbing.
And it's just...
It's very hands-on.
You just look at the jugs.
Which jugs?
They're called jugs though.
Speaking of climbing, I've had a couple of climbing first dates. There was one with he was quite a hot guy from Hinge, and we agreed we'd go. We went to a climbing centre that had a kitchen, did pizza and things. And we were like, whoever does the best climbs or the most climbs, the other one pays for the pizza.
Bit of competitive spirit on
a
first date.
Bit of fun, first date. And we get there, and he's really hot, he's really muscly,
Is the shirt off?
No, but he had a vest on, so it's chest was pumped, arms were there. And we're going along and he's climbing sort of similar climbs to me, but I'm just doing a little bit better. And then I do one which is a grade above what I usually do. So I'm gassed for myself and I'm like, I've won. This is it.
Free pizza?
And then he's getting a bit salty and he's just, really trying to do more climbs now. And I can see how much he really wants to win. And because he really wants to win, I just want to beat him at this point just so he doesn't get that ego boost. But then we get to the end of the climb and I'm like, come on, I did that. And he was like, oh, right, let's do a pull-up contest. That wasn't in the terms and conditions. That wasn't what we agreed on. So I was like, oh, fine, whatever. Made him go first. He did 15. I did 16. Bear in mind, this pizza was £9, so it wasn't exactly a break in the bank kind of thing. For two. We're eating the pizza, we finished the pizza. And then he's like, do you want to go to the changing rooms together? No, I do not want to go to the changing rooms together. Because one, I'm not doing that. Two, it's not like cubicles. It's a big open space one, so anyone could just walk in. So I'm like, He's
Is it Valentine's?
Yeah, I was like, so I'm like, no. And he's like, okay, well, can we go to your car? No, that's not happening.
Parked in the public car park outside the gym.
It was outside the front door. So anyone walking in and out would have seen us, And I just think, but then, oh my God, I forgot about this. We were out, we were at a rap party and we went into Cruise in Manchester. And we're obviously dancing away in the night, whatever. I don't know if you were with me when this happened, but someone comes up to me and he's topless. He's just got a cap on. Can't remember what he was wearing. And he's like, Max. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? And he's dancing Max. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And he's like, it's Jim. And I'm like, Jim. And he's like, from climbing. I was like, oh my God.
He's 15 pull-up man.
15 pull-up man. And I was just like, oh my God, hi, bye. And yeah, I'm sure you were there as well. And I just ran over to you and was like, this is what I was saying.
Where do you meet queer people?
I think like queer spaces is an important one. Annoyingly, there's a lot of queer spaces that are just like the clubs,
Bars.
and everyone's like had a bit to drink, and sort of a
Perception
vibe.
is clouded.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I remember it's not there anymore, but there used to be somewhere called Feel Good Club in Northern Quarter, which we used to love it there. We used to have some of our chats and meetings about this there, which unfortunately isn't there anymore. But those kind of queer businesses and queer spaces that are so welcoming, like you said, if you go to the same places over and over again, you meet the same people, you see them, you make friends, and something can happen organically.
And I think formulating a friendship to start off with is always a bit safer and less intense, and I think you get that more in organic connections than you do on dating apps, because you are swiping, it's superficial, you're basing it on looks or how someone's curated their account, and their account could be nothing like how they are in person. If you're meeting someone on a dating app, I think it's important to get off the dating app straight away.
Absolutely.
Don't have a 2-week conversation, paragraph texting, learning about them online. Meet them in person, even if it's just for a coffee.
Yeah. I think that's so important to say, because you can have like great vibes with someone over message on the apps and whatever, and then you meet in person and it just
easy
doesn't
to hide
click.
behind a screen.
It's so easy to hide behind a screen. I've done it. I'm sure you've done it in ways like, especially with a dating app profile, you are very much in control of how others perceive you, because it's only what you want to show. And then you get there in person and you can be a completely different person.
And your flaws are part of what makes you and your character. No one's perfect. No one is what they are fully on social media. And I just think it's almost a bit more nerve-wracking going on a first date with someone you've never met before.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It is scary.
Okay, so hypothetically speaking, we've got a match, we found someone in person. Where are we going on our first date?
I love a good bar date. Getting dressed up, going somewhere. It's nice and casual.
Candlelit, dim light.
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on, going for a drink, because it's just a drink. If it's not working out, you can sort of dip. I do love a dinner date, though. I know that you think they're a bit intense, but there's something classic and classy about it.
I think dinner is so intense, especially with someone you've met online.
Yeah.
The perception of like eating, if you're eating too fast, if you're eating too slow.
I'm there for the food.
If you're chomping down. Dinner dates for me are a bit risque. I have been on a really nice one though, and I did know the person prior, so maybe I was a bit more comfortable.
I think dinner date makes it sound like it's going to be some big fancy restaurant, but it could just be something like pizza or...
I mean, my go-to date, especially if it's online, is a coffee. Just because there is no pressure on time. I think if you're going on a bar date or going out for drinks, there's somewhat of a time period, because you're already going out at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're drinking, time's going to kind of scurry away with you. Whereas if you've got caffeine in you, you're motivated to maybe leave, do something else, and alcohol clouds your judgment a bit more than caffeine.
That's true.
Talking about go-tos and no-goes, there is one place where I think you've been to a lot on a first date. Does it ring a bell?
Maybe. Emily's little side hustle is at a bar, and I think I've been on...
14.
Do you know the exact number?
I want to say 14.
It's more than 10, it's less than 20.
At the place that I work.
And these are first dates.
Yeah.
But if it's not broken, don't fix it. And
in the summer, it's nice.
It's nice in the summer, nice little sunspot. But also, it's funny because then I don't have to like sort of update Ems about how the date is going. I just sort of take the person in there. Cheap drinks, great vibes. I've been papped a couple times by Emily, who's just, while I'm on the date, sending a picture over like, he's got his
Someone's
hand on your leg.
hand on
Yeah.
his leg.
It's the fact that like the other people you work with have like cottoned on and noticed that I'm with someone different every time.
Yeah, you've definitely got a reputation. So we've got our go-tos, you bar, dinner, me, coffee. Maybe dinner, depends on how long I've known the person.
Yeah.
What are the no-goes?
Definitely cinema. Don't go to the cinema on a first date. Cinema's a 4th, 5th date kind of thing. Yeah. Because how are you supposed to chat? How are you supposed to get to know each other?
You can't awkwardly put your hand out when you don't even know
their
middle
name. Do the whole
name.
like Yeah.
I mean, my no-go, having a date at your house, you know.
Have you ever done that?
No, but
A first date?
I know people who can't drink, so their go-to first date was to cook at their house. But I just think that's a slippery slope because
Oh, don't have someone at the house on the first date. No,
if you're going on a first date with someone and you're letting them into your home, there depends what your intentions are, but they'll probably subconsciously think, "Oh, I'm
It's
already
going
in
to
the
lead
house."
to the bedroom.
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with going to the bedroom on the first date, but if your dating intention is to fall in love, is to have a relationship, take it as long as possible until you have a sleepover or you're in the house.
Yeah. And just another side note, like I've said this to you before, you can date for whatever reasons you want. I think you should just be clear.
Truthful.
Yeah, and be honest.
Because that's a person that you're having a relation, like it's a relationship, whether you go on a first date, second date, you are forming a bond with this person. Have integrity.
So we've got the person, we've got the date. What do you wear?
Well, I'm so glad you asked me that, Max, because today's dress code is first date fabulous, darlings. I'll go first. So, starting from the bottom up, we have my little Rumpelstiltskin boots because they're ankle cut, but the sound they make when I walk, she's stomping on business. These vintage, like bootleg, low-waisted jeans with a bit of embroidery. This chain belt that my sister got me for Christmas. A bandeau long sleeve top with a little bra strap because, you know, you got to show some skin. And this is the skin that I'm comfortable showing on a first date. And then jewelry, hair, makeup. Subtle.
My first date fabulous outfit. We've gone for some nice trainers that I got from a charity shop in London. Got some jeans from Vinted that fit me just right, show off my bum in a nice way. I've got a nice Beyonce Renaissance merch tee. Belt, that was charity shop. Shirt was a charity shop. Glasses, I need to see.
I do think your outfit depends on where you go, though.
Absolutely.
I would wear this for a dinner. I would wear this for a bar. I would wear this for coffee.
It's versatile.
I wouldn't wear it if I was maybe doing an activity that involved walking. I could walk in these boots, actually.
Boots are made for walking.
Hell yeah. It's definitely comfortability and confidence. You know, wear something that you feel sexy in, that you feel like hot in, because this person's like first impressions of you romantically. You want to set the standard but not do too much.
But you're right. I think that, at least for me personally, I don't know about other people, but when I'm dressed up and I feel nice, I feel confident. And, you know, you can always be a little bit nervous on a first date. It's normal to be nervous on a first date. So I think to have something like that does make you feel a bit better, it's, you know, you go into it a little bit more.
And on the topic of nerves, how do you combat them, you know, before you leave the door? Maybe you just get a massive anxiety in your stomach. When you're on the date, they've gone to the toilet, you're twiddling your fingers. Any advice?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few ways to go about it. I think there's absolutely no shame if you're a little bit nervous to have a little bit of Dutch courage before you go. Just don't overdo it. We've all done that. And I think, you know, really sort of know who you're meeting, or at least from what you can get out of the dating profile. Because I've done it a few times where I've been on a date, been having a great time, having a great chat. What's the name? I've forgotten the name.
Oh no.
And I'm having to really think about it as I'm going through it. And either if they've gone to the toilet or I've gone to the toilet, and it's, you know, a quick check on the dating app to remind myself. So that's not good. So yeah, know who you're going with. Also, don't get your conversations muddled up, because I've done that a few times. Do you know where you speak to several people at once on a dating app?
He would know.
When you have multiple matches, unlike someone. If you've got having multiple conversations with people, make sure that you start talking about the right things with the right person. Because I've started conversations with them, been like, what? I don't go there. I don't do that.
I don't go to the library. I don't work at a bar.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, sorry. It's the other Jack or whatever he was called, you know? So yeah, make sure you know who you're going with. But also, at the end of the day, I think telling yourself that there's no commitment here. It's just a date. You know, you meet so many people throughout your life that you might never see them again. You might see them again. And that's dating.
And what's your go-to one-liner?
Oh, the thing that I used to say to myself.
Yeah.
I used to say to myself to just like give me that oomph of confidence. I was like, they're going on a date with me. They're meeting me, you know. Which
It's good when you're in the pits of anxiety. It's not good to walking egotistical,
No.
confident hierarchy vibes. But if you're like,
No, this is to me in
what
the
am I
mirror
doing?
at home.
What am I
like,
doing?
Yeah.
My advice to combat nerves, I'm quite an analytical, structured person. So I just like to have my conversation points. And if I ever feel nervous, I just go back to like a question. Maybe I ask too many questions. Maybe I speak too fast. But when you're dating someone, if you're nervous, you know, you're there to get to know them. Get to know them. See what their passions are, what their hobbies are. Do they actually act on their interests, or are they just simply listed things that they enjoy?
Yeah.
If they go to the gym, how often do they go to the gym? Like, what do they do at the gym? Why do you go to the gym? Just keep on asking questions. Maybe that's not good advice, but...
Do you know what, though? I think that I would appreciate that more in a date than if there's someone who's just not asking anything. Because that really irks me, is when you're out with someone and they don't ask you any questions, because I'm like, have you got no interest in who I am? You don't want to get to know me? Because then to me, that's just wasting my time, you know, and it sort of shows that, oh, you're here just for me, not to get to know me for whatever your own reasons are.
And also, it can go... The questions, like I said before, about the gym and stuff and the why, you can then get to know this person below surface level, you know, and like dig up their personality and see what their actual core values are. On questions on a first date as well, what do you think about talking about what you're looking for on a first date?
I think it depends, like, how you go about it and how far you go into it, because I think it's more than fair to talk about if you're wanting something casual or if you're wanting something, you know, more serious. I wouldn't go guns blazing into a date like, I'm looking for my husband,
The love of my life.
Yeah, no, it's just...
I've met you for a week on Hinge and I think we're
Yeah,
forever.
that can be a little bit intense. I mean, I don't know about you. I've been like really delusional on dates at times where I've like met someone and I've been like, I'm going to marry this person. So we're on this date.
Okay.
You're with this person.
Couple drinks down.
In your food, like whatever. What do you do if it's a bit awkward?
There's a mature way and an immature way to go about this. The mature way would be, look, I've had a great time. I'm just going to go home now. You don't have to say, I'm not
feeling
vibing
it,
with you.
you know,
awkward.
like...
But the immature way is to make up an excuse, honey. You know,
I've never
fake
done that.
phone call. Oh my God, my
Never.
friend slipped in the bath and has broken her ankle. I need to
Yeah.
help her. In 2026, we are moving past making up excuses for leaving a date. You know, like you said before, you don't owe them anything really. Yeah, you've committed to a time. But if they're not the person you expected or you're not comfortable, you are your own person, and, you know, you first over anything. You met this person once on a first date. You don't even know what their parents' names are. You can leave early.
Yeah. And remember, if you are on a date and you feel unsafe, you can go to the bar, you can ask for Angela or an angel shot or whatever the policy is there.
Tell a friend where you're going on your date as well.
Make sure your friends know where you're going on a date as well. I think that sometimes on dates, though, like things, or not even just on dates, I think this extends out of it. It's like things are only awkward if you make them awkward. And, you know, I'd say I'm quite a confident, chatty person, but I think sometimes people are a little bit nervous. The conversation hasn't started flowing yet. And I always try to find some sort of common ground, something to talk about that you can both get on about. But sometimes it's just like drawing blood from a stone and they're giving you nothing. And there was one time that I was on a first date, and we went out for dinner. So it's just like your worst nightmare.
First date dinner.
Yeah.
No.
And it was like, do you know, and the conversation just really dry, not going anywhere, coming from anywhere. And we ended up talking about like table etiquette and like all the different knives and forks that you'd use at a table.
Where were you out for dinner?
We were at some like somewhat fancy Mexican restaurant. But anyway, yeah, he's telling me about all this kind of stuff. And he's saying that like table etiquette has been really drilled into him because of his parents. And then my wings arrive. And these wings were thick. They were juicy. They were saucy. I still think about these wings to this day. And I'm slurping away at these wings because his food hadn't arrived. And he was like, just go ahead, just start without me. And I could
say less.
Yeah, literally. I could tell that he wasn't vibing it. And at this point, the wings were more interesting than the date. So that's what I set my focus to. But the worst thing was, at the end of this date, after like I just finally got out, he was like, I'll walk you back to the bus stop. Which I'm just like, Okay. Get back there, and I'm like ready to leave. And he's like, so do you want to go for a drink somewhere else? No, of course not. I was like,
I was purposely rubbing wing juice on my
yeah.
lips so you wouldn't
And I was
think.
like, look, I'm going to meet a friend now. I was actually coming to meet you. I was like, I'm coming to meet a friend now. I've had a really great time. Take care. And just left. And then we never messaged each other again. So the big question is, in our society, in our community, when you're on a date, who pays?
Interesting. I think there's definitely many answers to this. If they suggest it, then they pay, like a dinner. And then as a common gesture, if you do something after dinner, say drinks, then you pay for them.
Yeah,
And make sure you have enough money in your bank account to pay for those drinks.
Yeah, please don't go on a date if you can't afford to do it, because some people have to be bailed out by the date.
I've been on a really nice date, like amazing dinner, quite an expensive bill. I did suggest going for somewhere cheaper, but they were insistent of staying here. So we ate, we walked to this bar afterwards, and the cost for the drinks was £17, something like that. I go to tap my card and it declines. And I just have to wave at them. And he comes strolling to the bar and have to pay for it. So I think it's right that it's not just one way. Even though heterosexual norms are the man pays.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair. I think if you're dating someone, you want them to feel special, you want to treat them. And I think that's the same for queer relationships, gay and lesbian. It should be equal,
Yeah, I think that, like, I've been asked it so many times that I've lost count that, when I'm dating men, it's like, well, who pays? And it's like, it's
equal.
It's equal, And I think that, like, if it's 2 men, 2 women, 2 people, whoever it is, you can come to that decision yourselves. And I don't think, like, I've never gone into a date expecting them to pay for it.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like what you said before. It's, I'm very happy to get the first round of drinks, but it says a lot about the person to me if they're willing to offer to buy the second drinks,
Yeah.
And I don't really want to have to, like, because there's been times where, like, I've bought the first round of drinks, or should we get another? And they're like, yeah. And they're waiting for me to pay. And, just a bit like...
Especially on a first date as well.
Yeah.
Like, I get wanting to treat someone for a whole day and be like, no, this is like my day for you. I'm going to pay. But that's forever along the line. Just, if you're going on a date, have money in your bank account. That's my advice.
What's that?
I think we have our very first caller.
On the Homo hotline. Let's have a listen.
Hi, I'm Isabella. I use she, her pronouns. Back in college, I had a funny, you could say, first date experience. I was on a first date with this girl at a coffee shop. It was going pretty well. At one point, she got to use the bathroom, and while she was in there, a guy who was sitting across the coffee shop got up, approached me, and told me he thought my friend was cute and was wondering if she was single. I was taken aback, obviously. Here I was on a date with this girl, and a man's asking if she's available. I was also just kind of offended that he was asking me about my friend. But on the other hand, it was kind of, I felt a little bit of smugness that I was on a date with the hot girl he wanted, not him. So I just kind of turned to him and was like, actually, we're on a date. And he was clearly shocked, but he said nice before heading back to his seat.
Okay, respectful.
So when she returned, we actually headed back to her place, and I told her the story, and we laughed, and there's not really anything else you can do in that situation. It's like strange, and you like think it's kind of funny, but it's also just like incredibly invalidating as a queer person, because God forbid 2 girls at a coffee shop are on a date.
Wow. I just think it's hilarious that he didn't have the balls to come up to the friend. Not to the friend, the date.
The date.
God, I'm no better than the man. Yeah.
Yeah, like the invalidation, God.
Surely you see the chemistry.
Maybe there wasn't enough chemistry, we don't know. We would like to thank our very first caller on the Homo Hotline,
Thanks,
Isabella. If you would like to call into the Homo Hotline, please send a voice note to our Instagram and we could be playing it on next week's episode.
Any dating stories, big, small, horror, scandalous.
We
send
want
them
to
in.
hear them.
Now, this part of the show would normally be when we talk about your queries.
Queries.
Questions, concerns, opinions, thoughts. We're here for you. Advice, good or bad.
So please send in anything to our social media accounts and we may be answering them on future episodes. So unfortunately, we've come to the end of our very first fabulous episode and we would like to sincerely thank all of our wonderful first listeners for being here with us on this journey.
If you want to stay up to date with everything outside the podcast, follow us on Queer the Roster on Instagram and TikTok, and tune in next Wednesday where our second episode will be Red Flags and Icks. I'm Emily.
I'm Max, and we have been your hosts of Queer the Roster. Keep gaying.
Stay slaying.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.